relationship's my enemy, so stay away from him. I'm warning you. You try to fill the void with every man you meet, 'cause you're upset with me. I'm warning you, 'cause all the nights is left alone.
Uh, Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:33. It is July 28th. I hope everyone's feeling well and had a great weekend. It is, wow. Just like that, July is gone. Just like that, life goes by. Are you enjoying yourself? Are you having fun with your friends, your family? Are you present? And you're doing all the things that, you do to make yourself happy, right? If you're not happy, what the hell are you doing? Anyway, with that being said, um, here we are, right? Everyone's deeming this as the most important week of the summer. You have earnings, you have the Fed, you have economic news, you have the opening up with a US EU trade deal. How are you positioned? Are you a stubborn short? Are you looking for setups? Are you managing a tier system? Are you using your day count rules? Are you using your sell rules? Are you doing all the things you need to do to keep consistent, staying the course? This is what I try and do. I try and stay consistent so this way I could do this for a long time. I've been doing this for 30 years. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com, the founder of Red Dog Mindset. Feeling good. Got my sweat out this morning with the 25-20 with a few hundred of my best dogs out there. Some guys tune in from a stationary bike, from a treadmill, from wherever. You don't have to have a sauna to do the 25-20. It's just a way to listen to some music, think about the day, frame the week. And we do have a busy one. That's before we take it into the 6:30 Club. And if you've been watching the 6:30 Club since the pandemic, just make sure you subscribe above, because sometime in the fall we're going to be merging 25-20 with the 6:30 Club, and you want to make sure you still have access. Anyway, with that being said, this is the Alpha team. These are my dogs from around the world that I trade with. My options aren't listed yet, but still managing a portfolio approach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 positions besides the options that once the drop happens, there's another 20 of them. So we've been busy, and those who have been prepared and busy are making money, using, again, like I said, a tier system for when things go. You net money, you hold swings, options for earnings and for binary events or for some other things, and just trying to find the next setup. At this point, you have the trade deal. SPYs closed at the highs. You come in today, we're up 20 handles. SPYs are up another $1.34 or so. Here's your 8-day. A few different times we've opened higher and they sold it down and held around the 21-day. Here we opened higher, didn't even kept going. This one we opened higher, didn't hold a prior high, went to the 8-day. Pretty much since, again, June 23rd, which was what, over 2 months ago. No, actually, no, June 23rd, July 23rd. We've been in a really nice sequence. A nice sequence with lots of money trades. So everyone's like, Red Dog, what's the next money trade? I'm just trying to stay at the highs of my my month and my year. I know last quarter was awesome. Every account across the board, from the blood in the street account to your 401k, your 520, everything. But more importantly, trading. If you trade for a living, for the first quarter, I think everyone got some really big checks. So now July has been awesome too, where but the last few days got a little choppy. You haven't had to take options into earnings. If you would have taken JP Morgan and Goldman options that week long, you would have lost instead of buying it after. If you would have traded Netflix long, you would have lost. Even Google, which we've been really involved in, it was hard to make money, in a call spread, even though it was up into that weekend. So don't like have FOMO that you need to be in all these options to risk 2 to make 8 or risk 3 to make 7 or whatever it is, because a lot of things have been priced in, have been selling post earnings. So you have to know where these things came from and where they're going. So anyway, that's the SPYs. Some people like, what sectors do I think have opportunities? Well, I have been buying some $89 calls, thinking that the XBI that's now above the 200-day has one more move. If you remember, we were buying the XBI in here. The $86 calls gave us a really nice trade, like a 200% on a sector ETF. So, I've been buying into weakness some of the XBI calls, thinking that, hey, maybe there's one more trade here above 89, to this 90 area or maybe even more. So I think there's a setup there, but I'm not in the XBI yet. If the XBI gets above it, maybe I'll buy the ETF besides positioning for earnings. And I also positioned a little bit into the XLE, which is nowhere. Everyone keeps telling me how the XLE is on the verge of a major breakout, and so far, if you've been doing that since April 11th of 2024, it's been one big range trade. So I'm buying a few calls but I'm going further out. I'm going way into August, because at this point it's a whole lot of nothing. So I'm not in the XLE ETF. I'm in some options, accumulating it, paying for something that might happen later. Those are like my two concept plays that I think if we get some rotational flows and continue, I feel like we can get paid. They're off the beaten path of what's been working. What's been working is if I would have bought the SPY calls and Q calls instead of XBI, or XLE, I would be making a lot more money. But anyway, what's happening here? So Amazon is earnings this week. I'm still long the stock. I've been buying the stock every time and it comes into this trend line that's been working. It's been really, really hard to actually, look for like a momentum trade. Like we had one of them. Like my best option trade last week was being heavy in Amazon calls because Google was coming out. And people ask me, why would you do that, Red Dog? I did that for because if Google is down, you could still buy more Amazon calls because it's coming out earnings a week later. But if Google's up a bunch, then they'll be like, oh, it's not priced for perfection. Maybe Amazon could still go. So that was a great trade. I am not in Amazon calls right now. I'm just in the stock. I will manage it. What's it doing this morning? Amazon is it's up $1.40. So I will be trimming some of that. Here's 242. Numbers are until later this week. Numbers are what? The 31st. So I'm gonna wait still. I'm not in options, but this is a nice trend. And listen, there hasn't been a lot of momentum, hasn't been sexy, but there's been a lot of money there. Meta is interesting. Meta, I'm in the stock. It's getting tight. Kind of peaked out coming into the third quarter. So for a month, it's been in consolidation. And you saw that the market wasn't so upset with the capex increase by Google. So some people were thinking that might hurt here, but if they didn't sell it off because Google did it, maybe there's a double 741, 747. Earnings are, I think, on Wednesday, right? They're on Wednesday. I'm not in options. I'm in the stock, and if it can get above 723, maybe it gets a pre-earnings move. But I'm not buying options for earnings unless for some reason they hit it a little bit prior or this and that. I'm gonna wait. Again, these things have been so hard to make money with options for earnings that I'm in no rush to give back money and spend 10 grand to make 30 and lose 10 grand. I'd rather just trade it or wait till after. But this is a nice little setup there. I'm gonna figure out how to approach them. Right now, I'm just trading them, and they've been working really well. I did lose. The only thing I did was a call spread on Tesla, and I lost. And then people made a lot of money actually playing it into the gap the next day. All in all, it was hard to make money long or short there. I remember post print also, like it was down the entire day, and I tried to short 301s, and it bounced off of it, and then the next day they squeezed the shorts. But there was a decent trade through 310, went as high as 323. This is just a noisy name. This isn't the same name that it's been. It's not trending. It's not showing leadership. It's not doing anything that I like to focus on. Okay, there's just not. So we'll see what this week brings. Where is it this morning? It's up 455. It's $3 below this. It's still building out, I guess, what you could say a range. It's just not a lot of fun there. What's been fun? Crypto's been a lot of fun. Bitcoin, we had a trade from 105, 106. Remember, we were buying the IBIT with the $62 calls, and then went to 123 post July 4th. And it actually looks pretty good. I bought a bunch back of Bitcoin, the IBIT, late last week when they tried to scare everybody out. They don't scare us anymore because we know how this thing trades. Did a little tail, trying to stop people out. We bought a little bit more. Still going sideways. I'd say Bitcoin still looks really good. If you look at it, going sideways. This is the last setup we had on top of so many other setups. And then even bought a little Ethereum back. If you remember, we were playing Ethereum through 22. We were buying a lot of options in here. I think I sold into here, missed that day, and I started buying some back versus 29.39. I don't think this 32 is going to be the high of Ethereum this year. If anything, this probably gets taken out. So there's lots of ways to kind of massage the trade. Then you've had some, you had the quantum computing sector, and then you had the drone sector. There's been a lot going on. Let's see, Hood's coming out with numbers this week. Some of the guys on the virtual trading floor were buying it on Friday. I bought it also, and I just took the trade. I didn't hold it. Probably could have. Look at this nice trend in Hood. Wow, what a move! Congratulations to those who stuck out with Hood. I'm actually a original investor in Public. You hear all those Public.com commercials. Hopefully, Hood continues, and then those guys finally get their act together and come public. If they do, Red Dog's taking everyone to Sizzler. Anyway, let me see what my dogs around the world are saying. Let's go. Everyone could kind of talk to each other here through YouTube and through Twitter. Actually, this is right here. Oopsie. Hold on. Let's see. Let's get this back up here. Let's get this over here. Knock down this one. Knock down that one. All right. Blair is asking me about Apple. I am in Apple. Apple, to me, has been a pain in the ass. It is tight. Earnings are, Thursday. It's going sideways. I don't know if it tries to get through this 217 before, but I have some options on for that for Friday and some stock. I was really big in this move, so I feel like, it funded all the baloney. Anyway, you cannot buy any strength in Apple. Anyone who bought any strength in Apple in the past 2 weeks is not happy. If you bought a little bit of a dip, and every time it pulled in, there's been a little bit of money there. So anyway, so maybe this gets through 217 and fills that gap prior. I'm in, and and I have my stops. Where's Apple this morning? It's up 46 cents. It's not fun. No sexiness there. Nuclear stock strong. That's true. Oklow's been a really big winner for many. Look at that move right from here. I listed this. If it get above 58, we had a little red dog reversal near the prior highs. It held the 21-day. Stocks above the 21-day. You should be long, not short. Remember that. If the S&P and the Qs are above the 8-21-day, you want to be in a portfolio. You want to be long. You do not want to be shorting the market because you don't like the president. You don't like what's happening in New York. You don't like what's happening with the debt. No. That's no reason to short stocks. If you're below the 8-21-day, maybe you're tactical and maybe things can go down. But above it, you're looking for longs. Anyway, HIMS and ASTS. So ASTS did another money raise. I think this is just going to take its time. Last big money trade was right here. This is when we're buying options again. This is when we're buying stock for it to clear 54. It went to 61. I would say let this digest. Just buy a little bit, accumulate on a dip. It needs a little bit of time. Google above 195 is probably good. Or 197. It's again, this is what they did into numbers. We started trading Google right here. I was buying, options and rolling them up every time I made a new high, and then it hit 197.95. So this gap is kind of gone. So if you take this now and go up here, there's a little bit left. Do I think 207 is the high of the year for Google? I don't. But now it needs a little. It's a pony. I'm in pretty big pony. I'm riding that pony. No. Anyway, nice little setup here. Look at that. Tight. I started buying it in here. Listen, my friends who are pretty well-to-do, who are involved in big funds in China, love this name. They think this name is going to be $40 next year. So in order for it to be 40 next year, it's got to get above 1583. So I put this on my go-to list. Your go-to list is a list of stocks that you trade every day, a list of stocks that you chart every day, so you get to know them. So you know when there's volume and there's something different, you can get in there. So I'm doing that. Where is Pony this morning? Pony is it's up 60 cents. That's pretty cool. I have stock, I have options, and maybe I'll add through 1583. This is a nice little level here. But Pony AI, it's been, it's a new name, and there's autonomous driving in China. Anyway, only 1 million watt Topher. Ride the bull. The bull's been great also. I was buying that way down here, and everyone was yelling at me. If this can get through 1870 at some point, I think it goes higher. Remember WRD, that too, start to perk up. See if it gets through this. What is this? 1194. I think someone sent me there was some news about it this weekend. It's up 75 cents. Another nice little trade. We had this as a power play a few different times. By the way, the power plays is killing it. Like if you guys don't want to watch me talk for 20 minutes and then pick and choose what you want to do, you just subscribe to power plays. It's basically a product for options and stock where I come up with some good ideas. I frame them. I tell you what to do. We even use a tier system to get out because usually if a power play is a great setup and it goes and it's up 3-4%, I'm selling a third the next day. So you're not only having a power play that's supposed to be a swing trade for multiple weeks, you're getting a little bit of cash flow and then you're holding it. So look for power plays if I were you. Rum, rum has been a little bit annoying, to be honest. I started buying a lot of Rumble down here, and thank goodness I use a tier system. I sold a bunch above 1080, and now I started buying a little bit back. Hopefully it holds in here and moves up. I don't know why they wouldn't come out and talk about how much, Bitcoin that they bought. NNE, yeah, the NNE, SMR, and Oklo, they've all been really good. So if you trade a group, it's great when stocks trade in groups. Okay, this one's been the leader. Then you have NNE, which broke out also, and then you have SMR. So, the nuclear reactor names have been in fuego. I haven't been that active there. I do chart them for my community, but again, I'm in like 20 things. I can't kiss all the babies, but anyway. Michael B says, yes, Topher, it's a small company, but still it's very difficult to get insurance in that industry. But CLH, I haven't looked at that in a while. Someone said it's been trending. Yeah, last time I played CLH was right here. Looks pretty good. Looks like it's setting up for another move. Making a little bit comeback. I remember that move down here, and boom. So this was the last time I focused here on Celsius, and then right here. It hasn't been one of my swing trades. I've been doing a lot of the Archer, ACHR. I think it's trying to rebuild here. I caught a really, really big trade right in here. We were buying the 11s and the 12s and went to almost 1392. And I actually, again, it was up 5 days. I'm like, I feel like it's going to come in. I got down to 25%. So now down here, I was able to buy it back. It's a little choppy. It's not great, but if you buy in the right places, the premiums are pretty low. So I bought a bunch of that. Remember, I was telling you to buy UMAC back down here. That was a nice buy in the hole. This is when we started. So, I'm trying to build into bases and then play a bit of a breakout. Breakout's been hard to find. What is FBI? 95% of you will lose money. Okay, so we have a trader hater in the chat. I've never seen him before. He must be short the market. Anyway, how about I looked at SPED. SPED, I actually traded it a bunch of times. Remember, we caught the options when it was $15. I was trading this. This is when I started trading this. I got rid of it a little early, and to be honest, last week I lost extra money. Like Ethereum was going, I started buying it, thinking it hit support, and that was annoying. So, if anything, it's out there. When will the quantum names get going? I feel like, Abraham, you need to get this QBTS to make a new high to ignite it. So it hasn't been able to. If this were to get above and stay above 2060, okay, I do think that maybe there's another move. So right now, QBTS could be the stock that if it gets above this and goes, maybe it'll help IONQ, which is just still building. Sometimes these things take time to build. Had a big move to 48. It's building. So it's just not time yet. If you want to have a little bit of options just in case, et cetera, Dash is the best. Dash was like it was a new name. Okay, I put it on the Alpha Team's radar. It was a power play a bunch of times. Look at that, ready to make a new all-time highs. Remember in the weekly chart, I pointed out the cup and handle pattern? Well, now it looks like, it's ready to take out this 257 to see 260 or more. What a nice move. It took me a while to get to know this name, though. My friends brought it to me a year ago. Remember that August 5th bottom? But anyway, now it's above 144. That was when it was clear 144. I'm like, why can't it get back into here? Well, it's here now. And now it looks like if it takes out 257, congratulations to you guys. Microsoft, I haven't really been playing, to be honest. It's just been trending. You've had to just buy dips on the 8 day. As long as Microsoft holds the 8 and 21 day. Like, look at that move in Microsoft. Wow. I remember this is when I was really active in it, but they said Microsoft is where money goes to die. Well, not in 2024, 2025. This thing is so priced for perfection now, though. I don't think it's a good earnings play this week. If anything, it's kind of vulnerable if it misses a little bit. But you want me to go grab it? You know what? Grab is kind of annoying. It's hanging though. It's just quiet. I would think this is supposed to be like the dash of overseas. Well, it's not that dashing. It's all right. You just can't overfocus. People are like, Dash never move. I mean, like Grab never moves. You're out of your mind, Red Dog. I'm like, it's one of my 20 positions. I'm not hyper focused. I have some options and some stock. Anyway, Nvidia. Oh, let's go. Yeah, Nvidia. It made a little bit of a small doji high. What a nice trend. This is when I was hyper focused on Nvidia. This is when I had another money trade that I added to it. I kind of missed out on it up here. There are some saying to start focusing on SMCI. I might take another look there. Like, unfortunately, I kind of missed this move. I wasn't here on Friday. I was on my way out in the afternoon when this woke up. Where's SMCI right now? SMCI is up 75 cents. Some people think that that Meta's going to increase their capex and that this could have like an AMD type move. I'm not in it. I'm going to look at it today maybe. It's a power play still. I think it's still a power play for options for August 1st. So if you're still in it for power plays, congratulations, you're making money. I'm not in it this second. I had it a bunch of times. I had a really good trade around 52, but anyway, I think it looks better. Palantir, can't be upset about Palantir. Again, I haven't been, it hasn't been. I probably should have. I switched from Palantir going into the third quarter when this happened. I just never got back on this day when it rebuilt. But I'm more than busy with Amazon, Google, Meta here and there. The drone names, the quantum names, the crypto. Like again, you got to pick and choose where your bandwidth is going to serve you best. CRCL kind of broke down a little bit, but it's still all right. These tokenized type of stocks, I feel like aren't done. They're probably up with Ethereum here. So Ethereum's at 195. What's SBET doing? I would bet up $1.50. I swear to God, I didn't look. CRCL is probably up 4. Let's see. How long have I been doing this? I swear to God. I swear on Cadences, who my best friend in the world, who passed away in December. She's a dog. That I didn't look. We just know these things. So anyway, it's hard. I wouldn't be buying this up $1.50 or up, but these are names that should be on the go-to list moving forward. A lot of institutional money is coming into Ethereum. These are the tokenized newer names that could be cool here and there. Same thing with Galaxy. Yes, GLXY. Anyway, it's 6:55. Trim and trail your process. There's a lot going on. Be prepared. Don't have FOMO this week. I'm telling you, everyone's making it like they're gonna crush it this week, this and that. A lot of things could happen. There's a lot of binary events. It could be a lot of back and forth. So just know what you can handle and why, at this point, and we'll see how it goes. And once again, if you feel like you're mentally, turned around and you're not having the year you want to have, well, then if you want changes, you got to make changes. One of them could be subscribe to Red Dog Mindset. It's the pregame of the pregame. Get your mind right, get yourself situated, control what you control. So this way, when things get moving and things can continue or get going or ignite and you want to go with your go time, you're ready for it. If not, just make sure you get prepared, have multiple plans, and stop listening to people that have crazy opinions that you can't handle. Okay, so take some accountability for your process and keep working on it. I'll see you guys later.